computer. All right. So this is Media Agnostic Doom Journalism #1. My name is Morgenrede. This concept came about from a discussion that I had with Kim Vodicka and our friend Alexis. We talked about a Doom box, which was this like physical box where you would put things away that were depressing or obscene or just very melancholic. And when Misery Loves Company went away and God Pussy's on a break and all these other different, readings that are in New York or LA, we can't go to them. And I'm stuck in fucking Memphis. I wanted to bring this back. And so that is the spirit, that is the aura that I want to go for. The readings don't necessarily have to be depressing, but the more doom like, the better. But whatever you got, we fucking want it. I've got a list of some amazing readers from history's past and some people that are new friendos, and so I'm very happy. I'm going to go ahead and just shut up. First on the list, Michael McSweeney, an old Misery Loves Company homie.
Cool. Thanks for putting this together. I'm going to read a piece that was published in September by Expat. Let's drop the link if anybody wants to follow along. So it's called A Plane Hits the Mountainside. No rain for weeks, and then a plane hits the mountain outside Falston. The air clenches and breaks the jaws of my windows. My dying cat hides beneath the bed for the rest of his cautious life. Fuel glazes the grass and road like volcanic syrup. The dead stream down the mountainside as ambulances flash across a flattened cornfield. My unlocked door promises a few more quiet moments. The dead pick dried blood from their ears and flick scarlet flakes on the kitchen floor. Everyone asks for water. I run out of cups as the help arrives. The medics lead the dead away in ones and twos. A man in his early 30s touches my hand and tells me we were so close to Boston. I want to see my daughter. I need to see my daughter. A cop scratches his face and asks if I saw the plane crash. I tell the cop no. But the truth is, I watched the whole apocalyptic millisecond, and it felt like a normal Tuesday tragedy. I find a dead boy in the closet. He begs me, don't tell them I'm here. I'm not ready to go yet. I tell the boy, okay. His eyes disturb me. Socket shorn bare by an engine burst, fire mauled skin stretched into a scythe of fear. I hide in the bathroom and wait until the back door whimpers, then listen through the thunder-splintered panes of glass while the boy circles the blackened yard and moans for home, his death so small and every day.
Damn.
That's
Damn.
it.
Michael, that was an
Hell yeah.
excellent starting piece. That reminded me of there's a spot in Jasper, Arkansas where there was a plane crash and nobody survived and it's on like a hike route and you can just walk up to it and all the pieces are just right there. And the idea of plane crashes of as we're talking about like these past 10 years, I mean, we've started to see a lot more with like Boeing, and there's just a lot of deep like kind of things to unpack there. But this was fucking god, I loved the imagery there. It was damn, I'm trying to be like William right now. I mean, shit. So what I guess inspired you to write this piece? Was it just kind of like plane crashes, or just was there anything like personal about this?
Honestly, I have like pretty intense dreams, and I often dream about like the places where I live, and I live next to a mountain. And yeah, I just had a dream one night where a plane hit it, and
Damn.
um, in the dream, what I remembered of the dream was that there were people coming down the mountain. I didn't know if they were dead or not, but I just sort of took that and kind of ran with it. I've been writing about this like fictional Western Massachusetts town called Falston for a couple of years now, and everything I write just I sort of set in the town and build this sort of like bigger narrative. So this kind of fit into that. So
Definitely is giving me me and Kim, we've been talking a lot about what was it, Wisconsin Death Trip, which is that like kind of documentary of like, news clippings and all of these like people going insane, and then that kid that's in the closet, he's like, I'm not ready to go yet. And for me, we had been talking about the pandemic, and when they were starting to say like, all right, it's okay, like you can go back out, my first reaction was like, I don't want to go. Like, I
hmm.
love doing this, doing these Zoom open mics. I don't trust a lot of, people out there to like be cool and be normal. And, I feel like a lot of us kind of, we didn't die, but parts of our social selves went through something. And so I saw a lot of just interesting change in your piece. And yeah, just fucking, I love the brutal fucking obscenity. It's so fucking good, Michael.
I feel like a lot of people kind of had a couple degrees added to the temperature of their brains during that whole period, and I think a lot.
Unfamiliar. We had a troll at Misery Loves Company who was very nice, and then he was like, "Hey, William, can I read?" And William's like, "All right, you better have something good." And he actually read something good. It was like something he just bullshitted, but
Yeah, I remember that guy.
yeah, fuck. Oh, good times. All right, excellent first reading, Michael. Getting the tone started well, and then we had fisting, which is great. Forgot to mention that I want this reading to be every Friday no matter what, whether I'm sick, whether I have plans or whether I'm gooning, I will cancel everything. I want to be here so that, just like weird online people have a place to go. There's a lot of open mics, especially in Memphis, our town, me and Kim. They're like family friendly. And like I like weird shit. I want to hear people's like I can't read this anywhere else. I want to be a person's anywhere else. And so I'm going to make it a goal to do this every Friday and just like fucking come with it cuz I'm ready. My holes are ready, my ears are ready, my senses are ready. Anyways, so up next we have LMK or Lisa Marie. You are up next.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I had a different intention going in with the Doom theme. And then one of these woo-woo astrology accounts posted something of it wasn't an X, it was a lesson. Leave anything from 2017 and 2017. And I was like, that's real specific. Let me go to a different kind of Doom. So I pulled from further in the vault. Um, this piece is called Heart Attack Pussy. And I'll, I'll let her rip. Mi reina, is everything okay? He's dead. I killed him. Come get me, please. Okay, first, who's he? And second, ¿Dónde carajos estás? I'm somewhere in Connecticut, and he is the zaddy I introduced you to tonight. Mi reina, what the fuck? Explica, por favor, from the beginning. Can you start driving now? It's gonna take you a while from the city. Explica quickly. And where the fuck in Connecticut am I going? Walden? I'm not sure. It's close to 2 hours away on Metro North Red Line. I regret to inform you that Walden does not exist in the fine state of Connecticut. God damn it, it's 3 stops from Danbury, and the house is about 40 minutes on foot from the station. ¿Qué carajos does Danbury have anything to do with this? It's the off-peak transfer, no jodas. You are so lucky I am still in my latex. Hurry, but stay on the line, mi reina. I need the deeds. We went to the wine bar after we left your dungeon to discuss this book tour. I was explaining the itinerary and got lost staring into my eyes. His words, not mine. I get it. You're gorgeous. Well, it flustered me. His sister left him the keys to the mansion. He came, and now he's dead. A heart attack, I suppose. He came. Mi reina, are you trying to tell me que su chocha took him out? The dominatrix dream? I don't know what to do. He's still in the playroom daybed. The playroom, o sea, erótico, no? Pink Princess Barbie Land playroom. He assured me the stepdaughters are now adults. No jodas, there's no way. Are you sure he's dead? Here's what happened. He flipped me over from doggy to look into my eyes again, and I gave a steady gaze into his hazel eyes. A few thrusts later, I could see his pupils dilate and contract successively, turning honey and speckled verdant irises almost completely black, and then back again. He maintained an impeccable rhythm despite the fact that he was honking while his eyes strobed. What do you mean by honking? It sounded like a dying donkey, and I can feel him getting harder inside me as all this was going down. It was loud. And after a few minutes of sounding like the weathered ass in the throes of death, he let out a groan with the biggest load I've ever received. He slumped over immediately. Skin got cold, damp, and purple from the exertion. No jodas, mi reina. Yes, his breathing was so shallow, then imperceptible later on. I shook him. Ay, mi reina, no jodas. Are you coming? Speeding, by the way, almost there with no overnight traffic. Hallelujah. Where are you now? Hiding in the ensuite bathroom. I can't look at him or the oversized Barbie dream house. I cannot believe que produjiste un infarto con la chocha. Heart attack pussy. That does have a ring to it, though. Perfect stage name. Hurry, we have to get rid of him before the sun's out. I can't afford to get caught out here, him surrounded by all this plush. Fuck. Calm down. I'll be there in 10. Bluish gray house on the left. You'll see the hummingbirds. Heart attack pussy. Que envidia.
Wow. Kim, I mean, me and Kim immediately we were like, this is cum punk material. And I'm so glad that when you messaged me, like, so like, is this like cum doom? I didn't want to say no. I was like, any doom is good. Cum doom is great, and this is excellent cum doom. It's funny. All these pieces are reminding me of old media. I remember the one of the first HBO porns that I definitely was not supposed to be watching was this like cowboy themed porno, and this guy had a heart attack and died after coming. And like it's not impossible, but I'm glad that you made
Not impossible. This is autofiction. He did not wind
exactly.
up dying, but I was very scared.
It's no people like and this is probably too personal for me to even admit. I had when I was with my ex girlfriend and we were having sex, she had a seizure, and it was, I mean, made things feel great. But then she was like, "Hold on 1 second." I was like, "Everything good?" She was like, "Yeah, I just had a seizure," and I was like, "Whoa, what? Are you gonna die?" And she was like, "No, no, 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 I'm not gonna die. I need to sit down." And I was like, "Okay, whoa." Like it's things can get so close, and that is, I don't know, there's like this fun danger with sex where things can, the unexpected can either go great or the unexpected can go completely fucking bonkers. And so I was getting those vibes with your piece.
I'm glad it resonated. The the phone character is a composite because that day I did wind up calling a friend to get me, and she was a jerk.
Oh
But
no.
then we had a mutual friend who is a dominatrix who we saw that night. And I was like, if I would have called her, she would have got me.
Oh, me neither. Okay, so this is an important question from the conversation we had earlier. Does this dominatrix have they sat on people?
Have a what?
Have they sat on people? Like, like sitting on faces, like
Yeah, but she's tall. She's also a professional dancer and very
uh,
thin. So like she does the stepping, but she wears the fetish boots.
mm-hmm.
So it's not so much the weight, but the pressure of the point.
Ah, okay, I see. And I imagine she's stepping on certain parts, maybe not
Right.
necessarily the face. Very, man, that's so cool. I don't think I have any dominatrix friends. Or maybe I do and they're just not telling me.
I mean, some people are discreet.
Yes, yeah, and I live in Memphis, and so it's a big city, but also it's small as shit. And so like you hear like, oh, one person's like, I'm a dominatrix. Everyone knows you're a dominatrix. So like you really, I mean, there's even a secret orgy group in Memphis. I wouldn't know. I've never been invited. So like it's
That's
But
funny
it's not
because
that
like
secret.
I've been invited to a lot of things. I don't really participate, but I'm joining invites for I'm from Jersey, very close to Manhattan,
uh,
but I'm known to say yes if I have the time for I'll travel for a good time.
it's got to be
And I've been
time
invited to
important.
Memphis.
No
I've been
shit.
invited to like weird parts of Georgia.
Hmm.
There's always somebody somewhere, no matter how remote.
Lisa Maria, you couldn't have said it better yourself. Thank you so much for reading. This is definitely the vibe for Media Agnostic Doom Journaling. Thank you so much for reading.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right. So next up on my phone list, I believe he's in here. I'm going to try and say your name correctly. Derek LaPorte. Did I say that correctly?
You nailed it.
Yes.
That's exactly it. Yeah. All right. Now for something completely different, but a bit of a Trojan horse piece. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, here we go. This one's called Grocery Outlet. Most of you probably don't know what Grocery Outlet is. If you're on the West Coast, they're like the cheapest place you can go to buy food, basically. They don't have much, but anyway. Grocery Outlet. That's Spandau Ballet's true. I know this much is today, the day after Thanksgiving, me, the purchaser of more than I intended, abundance mindset. At the self-checkout, attempt to stuff my reusable plastic bag with 1 gallon of milk, 1 jar of gherkin pickles, 3 cans of sweet corn, 1 6-pack of PBR, liquid all, 1 loaf of Wonder Bread. Fuck, I crushed the bread. And 1 seasonal cinnamon broom, you know, the type made for hanging on walls that are never for brooming. It doesn't fit in the bag, but I believe I can carry all this. The store associate, no optimism. Would you like a bag? No. No verse forth. Too short, too harsh, unintended from me. I have one, softer tone of a marshmallow, suggestive of my range of reactions. Manage, mostly, holding the bag handles like shining a bowling ball while tucking the cinnamon broom between neck and shrugging shoulder. Should have drove. Why didn't I drive? Why didn't I drive? Why did the Grocery Outlet have such good deals on things I didn't need? I slowly walk home, waddling like a penguin carrying its groceries home to the igloo. Do penguins live in igloos? Sorry, lost the metaphor. Air is sticky like sap. The world is a leaky tree. An occasional gust strangles the palm, rattles the sleeping fronds, God's matador. Steps are small victories, the broom's repeated falling and small failures. Success is not zero sum. Take a break, rest my hands, the circulation returns. The dark red ripple marks dissipate, skin is memory foam. Gloves for carrying groceries should be a thing. I should make that a thing. Gloves are pillowcases for hands. Press on. 4 out of 5 blocks now. I'm approaching the last. Then, in the dark, a small parking lot, a person lies there, face down, head against a curb. I pause, stare, try to see if there's any movement, breathing, anything. Huge gray coat, blankets, signs of life. Set the bag of groceries down, place the cinnamon broom atop it, call out. I call out to the man. There is no response. Louder, still no response. Car pulls up, a woman rushes out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Says her husband was walking on a walk and his phone shares its location. She noticed he had stopped moving. I call 911. Best approximation of our location. Dispatcher walks me through CPR. Press, press, press. Cinnamon scented glitter all over the man's white shirt. Trying to follow along, trying to count the seconds between pauses, a minute, an eternity. Does this life flash before his eyes? I say, come on. Can I coax life from the lifeless? Hoping for awakening or yelling, response, any response. Hear the siren, tell the wife to flag them down. Paramedics take over. They press the man's chest. Under force, it moves like swells on the sea. They attach a defibrillator and shock him several times. I'm apologetic to the paramedic. Was just passing by. Wish I could have been sooner. Wish. His face is blank. His day is the same as any day. Mine, not. Unconscious man's daughter arrives. She's around my age. No, younger. Share a hug with her mother and the daughter like some member of the family. Can't think of what to say. Can't emote hope. Think, say. I say, I will pray for him. The truth, I don't recall the last time I prayed. Doubt I remember how. The paramedics load the man into the ambulance. Lights, sirens recede into void. All that's left, Earth's beating heart, gravitational pull of planetary desires, threads of crusting human webs, cruel clock, indifferent, distant dong, tick, tick, tick. You hear the same sound the same night every night. Can you taste the flavor of the moment on your tongue so you never forget? Never know. I'll never know what happened to the man, will I? Gather up my groceries, rustling bags sickles the silence, and I continue the walk. Wonder, was I witness to medicine or audience to ceremony? When I get home, I feel the need to call you, the need to tell you, the need to hear your assurances. Oh, I'm sure he'll be okay, say. Oh, they only use a defibrillator on those they can save, say. Dial your number, almost press send. Remember, you're gone. You were the one who introduced me to cinnamon brooms.
Damn,
That was good.
that was wow. Such a,
Thanks.
it's
Thanks, everyone.
deceitful because in the beginning there's this like, oh, this is funny. You have these uh minor absurd like, oh, go like I walk everywhere I go to go shopping and of course I'm like, fuck, why didn't I drive? I'm carrying all these bags. I got to cross the street. In Memphis, people get hit all the fucking time, so I have all of these things in my head and then just man, we've all whether or not it's like at this obscene or this visceral, like a person that is clearly in trouble and you're like, is this my problem? Shit, like what do I do? And there was one line where it was like audience to ceremony, and like what can you do? What can any of us
Yeah.
do? And so that immediate personal helplessness to then human helplessness, where like you can only really do what you can do. I mean, that was just so potent, man. Like fuck that was a very, yes, Ken Watt, the bystander effect. It's so fucking true. And if anything, if you had tried to help, and again, I don't know if this is a real piece. If this is fiction, it's great fiction. If it's from real life, goddamn, I hope you're okay.
No, it's part of, yeah, but it's from real life. Like it happened to me, walking back from grocery outlet too. So
And the
most
way
of that part's true.
that line where you can taste moments, and you never forget that taste. I mean, you clearly, I mean, from the very minute of like what was in the grocery bag, the people that were there, the lights fading away into the void, the pulse and the heartbeat, the earth's heartbeat. I mean, god damn, bro. Like these, I mean, all of the pieces that have been read have such good poetry with them. This narrative, though, just really just was incredible. That was so fucking good. So, do you usually write, from these moments? Do you try to like go into fiction, or do you find that there's more power in kind of recalling these events?
I think always finding, yeah, some sort of truth. Obviously, this was one that like I had felt for like a long time because it was a situation in which it's like you never know. Like yeah, and I see that in the comments. True. I need to probably check. I did check to like afterwards to kind of see what happened, but never saw anything about like a obituary, anything like this. So I think that kind of always has stuck with me. So it's been a story that I've been wanting to write for a long time, and how to write it. But I do sometimes pure fiction stuff too. But like I always try to have like a little bit of the reality of something that happened to me that's in it.
Always, it's the craziest shit that always happens in real life, and I feel like what really distinguishes, great writers, and in this Zoom meeting right now are a lot of great writers, is making those moments just so palpable and having just, I guess, the courage and the confidence to just go back in your head, to close your eyes again, go back in that doom box and say, all right, I'm going to get this out. I had a friend tell me about, he didn't watch, but he was in a building where a guy jumped from 3 stories and fell and killed himself. He fucking killed himself. And
Mm.
he, was like, I really want to talk about this. I'm like, can I interview you? He was like, yeah, absolutely. I need to get this shit out. And so it's just this nice therapeutic way that I think all of us can absolutely relate to. Uh, and that's what this fucking open mic is for. And I'm so glad that you utilized it. I'm so glad you were excited to be here. Man, I knew you were going to put something fucking crazy up here. This is, I don't know, there's such catharsis with Doom and, confronting it, being in that existential goo that is just so potent nowadays. But yeah, you absolutely, man, now I want to go back and see what traumatic shit have I not written about yet.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me. Thanks
Absolutely.
everybody.
Derek, thank you. All right, there's one dude who his name in the waiting room is dot dot dot, and he's been waiting for like 10, 15 minutes. I really want to let me see who's next. Let me see who's next. All right, up next is Alex Osman. Are you in here, bud? I don't see him. All right, I'm gonna put him later on. Okay, Kim Vodicka, you are up next.
I'm not going if you let in dot dot dot.
I won't let him in. How about this? I will let that guy. I will let dot 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 in after you read. Pinky promise.
Oh, hey, William.
Oh, hey,
Um,
William's here.
were you dot dot dot, William?
No, William wasn't dot dot dot.
Okay. So am I going?
Yes,
Okay.
you don't have to. I don't know. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
I
Yeah.
love this. All this freedom and all this responsibility.
Mm.
Um, can you turn your volume down so I don't hear an echo of myself?
Yes, no. We've been. I feel like me and Kim are both sharing a brain right now. We are going fucking crazy here. I will put in my headphones and I will mute myself.
Thank you. I'm gonna read something that really has nothing to do with compunk or really any other things I've been putting out in recent times. It's something I drafted a couple of years ago, and when maybe something is just sort of not connecting at the time and just sort of lies afoul for a while, and then you revisit it and you have like a better sort of ability to see into it and kind of shape it into something in a way that you really weren't able to do at the time. So I recently just was looking at this and kind of did that, but it was written um, in the immediate aftermath of my breakup with Cody Goodfellow. And I was thinking about how that relationship was so like based in fantasy and how when, especially when it's like two highly creative people being together, you can sort of live in an alternate reality life um, that only really exists in fantasy in some ways, and how we were at our best, I think, when we were as far away from reality as possible. So that's sort of the context of this. L'amour fou, yes. Featuring Colton's favorite subject, Greek mythology. He always clowns on me for my love of Greek mythology. Anyway, this is on holiday. We were at our best when as far away from reality as possible, when we were being pretentious. On holiday, at Vale of Morning on Cocytus, Lamentation Riviera, where the boardwalk is a plank, a diving board for belly flops into self-pitying grief, the kind that feels like covering up a murder, like when you cheat real good, real unforgivably. And oh, the amenities, the soothing sounds of morologists. Their crocodile tears keep the Lamentation River full for the whale watching, the parasocial sailing, the sup boarding ski-doos and banana boats gone fishing for bottom feeders. They all float, aphrodisiac meats, like that goldfish you won at the state fair. The next day, when you went to feed it, it was just an ichthys at the top of the bowl, stinking. Or that hermit crab you begged mom and dad to buy you at the touristy surf shop. Died within a week, reeked like a seafood store in Philadelphia, or Lower Hades, where we are today, on holiday. Chimera watching. Griffin harpies in onesie string bikinis, praying hooters with saggy honkers and Groucho Marx cigar clits, alight the cocytus for cum stomping. I guess there is cum in this. And the pure moods. Shades and spirits and souls and hungry ghosts turned away by the ferrymen, 'cause they were buried unceremoniously. No paint, no jewels, not even any lapis lazuli. The soothing sounds, their orgies on the sandbars kissed, buckin' and a brayin' and a howlin' at the deep red moonless, a rippin' and a tearin' phantom limb for limb untouched by sun. Not at all like tubing the lazy lethe, voodoo rangers and four loco tall boys, but not unlike whitewater rafting the Styx. You killed me, pretended I fell overboard, got lost at sea, jumped in after me, and we got so lost together, so sick. Quite like our little sadomasochistic sex vacations, the Akron kink destination. Back when I played the victim to find release. Imagine that, actually believing I wanted my ass beat on a Huck Finn raft. And all those cleansing dips in the Phlegethon, wading pool where I wrapped my thighs around your hips under fire, rubbed my lips against the wood you burned in me. But here we are now, halfway along the journey of our life, where the straight way is lost. On holiday. At the Lamentation Riviera, nude beach for disembodied members only. Nethers and hinters far as the eye can see in the crushed velvet dark. Alarming, like the first time you ever saw two animals fuck. That beastly, lustful evil that touches the deepest part of you there is to touch. The way we touch each other. Makes me want to drink a pina colada out of a coconut, but all they got's rusty virgin bloodies. And a honeymoon suite complete with Manson-branded sex toilets, deathbed a California king, replete with baby fuckers, and we are the babies. Sliding balcony doors to let in the stagnant, musty, airless vacuity. And the soothing sounds, those necromantic symphonies, the river lament, the soundtrack to our lovemaking, hate without end. Thanks.
Well, well, well. Kim came to play and come. Kim, I love that. So you've not published that?
I haven't published anything in like 3 years except Compunk, because I've been waiting for things to make sense. Um, and I just don't like to arbitrarily rush anything anymore. Like for what I don't like to publish things for what I think are the wrong reasons.
No,
So
and that's very true. And it's tough again, like these relationships between creatives, like because I have yet to be in a relationship with a writer. I've been in relationships with singers and like physical like artists, but never a person that could actually like write out the emotions, the feelings, the heartbreak, and all of these beautiful, images and kind of like again, Greek mythological, metaphors surrounding like death and this kind of like frightful desire that accompanies love and lust and just this closeness that you can have with a person that can just easily make you come and then can just fucking leave you
and
dry and
how
can
like love turns to hate or you know.
yeah, it's just so quick and it's instantaneous and it is, as we are people and we are fallible, it's just so it's the most fucked up kind of fate that we are never aware of when things I mean, you kind of sometimes when you're with somebody, you can kind of feel like, okay, things aren't going well. But when things are going well, you're like, all right, when is shit gonna get fucked up?
Or you can sort of trick yourself into believing in that alternate reality in which you are not in fact in a toxic situation and you are not in fact like miserably unhappy. And I think
Yes.
social media can be a way to kind of double down on that. Like I can't tell you how many people I know because they tell me that they are miserable with their partner, but if you were to look at their pages, it's just like all like happy
Like, oh, we're on vacation. Oh, my partner isn't doing any weird sex shit behind my back. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
like
we're
I've done that too. Like when I was on social media, I was still on it when I was in the relationship that that piece is about. And I mean, I was doing that exact thing. Like if I get enough heart reacts on this happy looking picture, then I can like trick myself into believing in this alternate emotional reality.
yes. And I'm glad we brought up, and of course, you with your piece brought up the fantasy because, we've talked about, from, the reality and the fantasy of dreams with plane crashes, the reality of like moments of sex and passion, the reality of like death and real death, and kind of, this like mirror of like, oh my God, I'm a real mortal person in the world and I'm seeing a person potentially die. And then with love, that's where the fantasy really can just creep in and get under your fucking skin and can come right up here and can turn you into a completely different person. And it just rewires your fucking brain. And that is scarier than death, scarier than a lot of other, conditions of the human condition. So, I
And it
mean,
kind of puts you in like an underworld headspace, you know?
yep. And that's
Like
where
that's
you
how
did the
I felt.
Hades reference. I got that mythology reference. I went to college, god damn it.
I'm really into all the different rivers of the underworld. I like how they each have their own name and like identity and personality. So that was my little nerdy thing.
See, I fuck with like Dante's Inferno because like I completely believe that all the poets are in just one fucking inferno, one little ring, and it's just like a misery loves company where you've got like a person reading and on the side is a dude fucking fisting himself, and it's just like
I'm
that's
waiting for the
eternity.
fisting guy to pop up right now. Like,
No, he left the waiting room. That dot 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 guy. I'm so fucking sad. He couldn't keep it up. He couldn't edge himself.
oh man, I made him go soft. Aww.
Aww.
But that is to say, I did publish Cody Goodfellow in Compunk, and we are on peaceful terms. So
And
no shade, Cody.
that is more that is maturity. That is the double-edged sword of love and doom is that you go up, come back down, and you go back up again.
It took not speaking for 2 years to get there, but we got
Yeah.
there.
It's the, and I'm making this reference because I'm watching the show. It's the twin peak, where you've got to get past that second peak, and then you never know. Me and my ex, we are not on speaking terms. We live a mile away from each other. We have not seen each other. Uh, and she gave me my book back that I gave to her. So,
That is so like crazy shady. Okay, like just to like sidetrack even more, which nobody needs, but like when like what is everyone's opinion on the following? Okay, when you're dating someone and you give each other gifts, and then when you break up, somebody one or both parties returning gifts that were given over the course of a relationship. I think that that is fucking weird. Like I think that's ridiculous.
it's a gift. I gave it to you, god damn it. Keep the fucking gift.
I get
Wait,
rid of it.
what do you think?
I get rid of it.
You get rid. Well, do you give it back to the person?
No.
Okay, you just get rid. See, that's
And
different.
see,
That's
that's
different.
fine. That's
Giving gifts
fine.
back like that is very, very strange. I've never encountered that.
Thank you. I think it's weird to give the gifts back to the person who gave them. It's just like,
Like,
It would
But
depend
have
what
you
the
ever
gift
been
is.
asked to give the gift they gave you back is like a whole other layer to that.
ooh.
oh hell no, I would
I've
never.
heard
First of
of
all, I
that,
never
but that's
would.
also
So
bizarre. I've burned things.
See that I people have burned shit,
that's
Hmm.
and
different.
that's cathartic.
Okay, I'm gonna look into
I
that.
keep the gifts, but just to as like a nice healthy reminder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, see, I mean, I just, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just like I've already I received the gift. I've already incorporated it into my life. You like so. I don't know. All right, thank you. Bye.
Of course. Thank you so much, Kim. We love you. And of course, anybody here, I am the Askquisitions editor of Come Punk, and Kim is the editor in chief, the fucking reason to be, the raison d'etre, the fucking the brains, the balls, and the fucking the guts of the entire operation. We would love for y'all to send us your cummy pieces of what have you. But yeah, thank you so much for reading, Kim. Next on my list, we have a man who recently just announced a book release with Pig Roast Publishing, Eric Subpar.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So I think I'll just read an excerpt from Ghouls in Love, the book I just released from Pig Roast Publishing, out today. Very exciting times in the Subpar household. Let me grab that. Okay. So, so just like an intro, this is a story about two heroin addicted youths that are homeless who are in the burgeoning parts of their love, right? And so they're having a conversation. Okay. We are the queen bees God values the most, right? Ever seen those movies about bees and how the bees don't have a life of their own, but just live to serve the queen? What if, like everything, like the suits and H, is here just to serve us? So we produce more suffering for God. The suits, smack and booze, the police, all of it. They don't have a life other than to make us suffer. I mean, there's enough money and food or houses to go around, so why don't we have none of it? It must be on purpose, right? It's because we keep suffering going. We feed God, but that also means we are loved by God the most. You dig? God loves us most? I don't believe God loves anyone. I think God's love is the myth that gives our suffering its flavor. But we have food now and H, she said, as she fingered a sticky chunk of pear into her mouth. Her eyes move around the now defunct daycare center in which they were squatting. Though the furniture was gone or destroyed, and the children were probably adults themselves by now, the room still felt alive with their activity. The ghosts of past joy still echoed through the ceiling tiles. The walls had been painted into brightly colored murals depicting hillsides and aquariums and arms outspread Jesus surrounded by cartoonish little critters. There were still a few sleeping mats left behind that Avery stacked into a full-size mattress. It was on these mats that Avery and Daffy first made love. He had fucked and been fucked before, but never in this sweet way, where the world seemed to fold endlessly upon itself and turn to a crystalline mold of simple, rhythmic energy. It was slow and orderly, and both knew it rested in a place outside of sexuality, like a hidden pocket in the fabric of time. It was like souls being tied together into knots and knots and knots and knots. As he climaxed on top of her, he looked down and wiped her hair from her face. She smiled, revealing a graying incisor. I never want to be apart from you, he said. She nodded and turned away. He noticed a tear rolling down her nose and laid down beside her, kissing the tear. If you don't feel the same, that is fine. I'm just saying. She kissed him back. I'm just too broken apart. So am I. That's the thing. So you don't ever need to feel bad about being broken because I'm broken too. So we can be broken together, and maybe two broken people can make one whole person. She nodded again while he stood up and pulled up his athletic shorts. She then said the first non-response of their relationship. I think we should have a baby. And then she laughed, and he couldn't quite tell if she was being serious. Sure, he replied. Yeah, let's do it. He put on the rest of his clothes and rolled up the sleeves of his sweatshirt. The track marks extending like rigid mounds he traced with his index and middle finger. Avery always knew he'd never make a good father. None of his skill set matched the jovial and monolithic figures he'd seen on TV, and he wasn't willing to tell her that now. He dug wrist deep into his pockets and pulled out a couple dollar bills. Gonna run and get a pack of smokes. He watched her naked body as it laid amidst the ocean of his things. Everything had quickly become so intertwined and fragile in those minutes, and he noted the rise of heat within his blood before he hunched down into the crawl space and out the back into another hot summer day. As he arrived at the gas station, a woman pulled in quickly and exited her vehicle. She was a real rich bitch, he thought, wearing a black dress and driving a black Lexus. As she ambled across the parking lot toward the entrance, her dog, some foofy white thing that probably costs more in maintenance each month than most children, began yapping in a subdued tone out the slightly open passenger window. Avery approached the animal behind the glass barrier and attempted to console the creature. It's okay, buddy. Your mama will be back soon. He placed his palm outward, but the dog reacted angrily through exposed teeth. You're just scared, but being alone ain't so bad when you really think about it. What the fuck are you doing? The rich bitch's voice interrupted from behind. He spun and spotted the woman, her billfold and keys in one hand and a deadly glare poking out above the frames of her sunglasses. Oh, I was just looking at him. How about we keep our eyes to ourselves, she replied, pushing past Avery and into her car. He then entered the store and asked for a pack of Salem's. As the clerk turned to grab the pack, a thundering clang of metal blasted loudly from outside. With such force, Avery nearly jumped out of his sandals and almost dropped his pile of change to the floor. A mess of onlookers were already gathering near the intersection, and Avery could see a plume of black smoke erupting from behind them. It was the rich bitch's car. He could make that out. The rich bitch had apparently pulled out into oncoming traffic only to have her passenger side door plowed through by the force of a 70s era pickup truck hauling a riding lawnmower. Avery told the clerk to call an ambulance as he ran out toward the collision. The black Lexus melded around the front of the pickup, and as he got closer, Avery spied the woman leaning over the center console unconscious. Not far from the vehicle lay a pile of pink fur. Avery ran to the dog and placed his hand on its side, feeling the slow give and pull of life. Still alive, he said, as he picked the canine's broken frame up into his arms. He attempted to escape the crashed vicinity with the dog in his arms when a large man with a matted mop of white hair spotted him. What are you doing? The man asked. His voice sounded like a tow truck shifting gears. Avery shouted, I'm sorry, I'm not a paramedic. I can't help her, and ran away toward the daycare with the dog bloodied and struggling to breathe. The man just stood there and watched Avery run away. When Avery returned through the crawl space, he huffed out a breathy salutation and handed the dog off to Daffy, now fully clothed and smoking a cigarette. She took to it immediately and made plans for nurturing it. She made a bed for it in the corner and laid next to it while it slept. Avery assured her that this dog, too, was a gift from God, and it was their solemn obligation to care for it and love it forever, because you can never take for granted what little God gives you. She named it Ralph. 3 hours later, Ralph died. The wounds were too much, Avery told her, and she sobbed angrily, having lived a lifetime of love within those 3 hours. It was only when all the tears had been cried that she turned her face upward toward Avery and asked, why would God give us something just to immediately take it away? Like I told you, we can't rely on God, only each other. The two lovers sat in silence under the sweet release of heroin before they finally crashed into a low swinging slumber. And that's it.
God damn. Wow. Ghouls in Love. That's the title.
Yeah.
Wow. So, man, there's nothing more depressing because, like, this rich bitch, dies, but then it's like, please don't tell me the fucking dog. Don't fucking kill the dog. God damn it. And just 1-2 punch. I keep going back to that line where you said the myth, God's love is a myth that alleviates our suffering or something. What was that line?
Gives our suffering flavor. Sorry to jump in, but yeah,
no,
I wrote it down. Gives our suffering flavor. Epic.
Man, and holy fuck, like just so potent, so accurate, and it's tough. Like I think I was talking to a friend the other day. The last time that I prayed was when I was taking off from a plane, and I hate planes. I I'm always like, oh my God, I'm not in control. I'm going way too fast. I'm up in the sky. I'm not where I need to be. I don't believe humans should be thousands of feet in the fucking air. But yeah, this piece completely just shows like not an absence of God, but the just arbitrary ways that God is kind of felt and where God is perceived through suffering. And it's so brutal, Eric. God damn.
Well, thank you. That's what I was hoping it was. But
And
yeah.
I like again another motif of the grocery store parking lot, where it's just kind of this no man's land, and where intentions, are often just kind of thrown out. People are in a hurry, and it's hard to see the intentions of a user, because it's like, are you trying to take something? Are you really there? Am I just staring at an empty soul?
Right. Yeah. Like there's this moment where yeah, Avery is really trying to connect with those around him and really struggling too.
Yeah, and that connection, and I just remember back in college where I got to where I was using drugs in places that I definitely should not have been using drugs. Thank God I've never, injected anything, but I mean, just the weirdest human connections you can make. And you just see these people. My old coworker, his one of his brothers, or it was him, a sister, and a brother. Brother overdosed and died, and then he overdosed and died, and all that was left with this was the sister. And it's just so fucking like there is something lost, something that can never come back, but except drug use. Drugs fill that void of suffering. And it's almost kind of weird to think, is God's love felt through drug use? And I just love how this novel could potentially answer that question, potentially provide more, I mean, so philosophical, like just so and simply philosophical. There was no like I never was bored with those descriptions. It was just so matter of fact with modern day like layman's terminology. Just fuck it, like fuck me. I'm like over here like, man, this is really great, but inside I'm like, oh my God, when I get home, I'm hugging my cats. I'm giving them all my fucking love. Like Jesus Christ. Here,
Well,
I
thank
think
you so much. Yeah.
absolutely, Eric. I've read so much of your work, and there's one novel that you're sitting on that I fucking hope sees the light of day, and you know what I'm talking about. But Ghouls in Love is an amazing showcase of, I guess, all of the doom that you have kind of, you know, felt in your life or wanted to, bring onto a page. And I'm excited to see the reviews and what people think about it. And I just I just posted the link in the chat for everybody that's interested. We love Pig Roast Publishing, not because I'm published with Pig Roast Publishing, but he's a homie. Jeff is the homie. But yeah, Eric, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, so whew, I hope everybody has things to make them happy, because with a title like Media Agnostic Doom Journalism, this shit is bleak, but it is real. Real life is sad. Real life is, I go to work every day. I work in a deli. Sometimes people come up that are like, I don't have any money. Is there anything you can give me? And sometimes we're nice, we give people things, but often other times, driving through Memphis, we're currently, seeing a lot of National Guardsmen walking around, and so many arrests, and our jails are full, and it's hard to know what to do. And as writers, we do this. And again fucking so glad to have y'all here and to have y'all stick with it. 18 participants is amazing for this first go around. And the reason I chose media agnostic was a term that I believe is used in marketing, but we all try to document and perceive doom through these different avenues of social media, newspaper, in print, in real life, in dreams. And all of it is absolutely valid and, carries with it a different kind of flavor, so to speak, of this kind of suffering that can bring people together, that can make people fall in love, that can just do so much to people that are just kind of wanting something. And we don't know what that something is, but that's why we're here. That's why we write. Anyways, next up on my list. Ooh, this person we've been talking and chatting, and one of these days we're going to meet in person for a reading. Brooke, you're up next.
All right. Stoked to be here, guys. I haven't published anything in print in a couple years. As Kim was saying, just kind of taking our time with these projects is where I'm at in my life, because the quality of the work to me is more important than my image and relevance. So I'm going to read a couple. I'm going to zip through a couple of these excerpts from a collection that I have that will hopefully be published sometime next year, called Open Wide O Earth. It was very much inspired by a quite chaotic couple years of my life, and moving between Detroit and back to my hometown and kind of having some personal reckoning. So get started here. In a haze of phosphorus, Ramadan is acknowledged from the rubble. We've all seen too much. My retirement plan is to become quiet and build Paoletti guitars without a mailing address. Wind up where the muckrackers heal themselves away from politicians who only get close to drowning men for ballot halls. Like a cheap date, arrange my sin. I will wind down with the modern romantics. My acquisitions of literacy would have me crowned. I would struggle to remember the names of everyone in the room. A local muralist will be commissioned to drape my mug over a brick wall, just like the one in Marshall, Illinois, except much better looking. And eventually, someone's hate for me would blister into enough is enough. An assassin is predicted to catch me off guard, perhaps during one of my evening walks, or while ringing out a high note in the shower. My skull will be cracked open, and it will spill out Cabanellian frescoes, images of flightless birds, the women I slept with, inflammation, so much blood you would think there were two of us, and the coroner would discover that there were two of us. And parasitic, one ego called tough shit dibs, and the body developed hegemoniously. So I became multilingual between the sexes. I worked on cars and was a lifelong student of aesthetics. The code switching was unreal. I can feel your eye raising. Just chill. You write for prestige. I write to face myself. In part 2. The all-American dead like you. The world is bloated with war crimes. We enter it bawling. The first lesson in our development is to knock that shit off. The collages of triumph and demise, hope is bloodied and bandaged by one's own accord. Call it a truce. Metro jazz spastic capturing the panorama skyline. Headphones jacked off in the washing machine. Seagulls swirling above a Kroger parking lot where unnurtured children play before gestating the wars within themselves yet to come. Bless what broke you. Bless the words as pure as thrill, the alchemy of hailing lively, of dislodging expectation to make room for sanctuary, the burdens of having found paradise and the thrill in anonymity, disambiguation in the pharmaceutical shell, and playing it off like Rachmaninoff performed in Cook County, where brown glasses spilled like mandalas on the highways and mixed into the mulch at public parks. Ritual plunge, naked on the cusp. Mediocrity is a killer. It's no immediate death, but a slow drainage into non-entity. These streets are sketched by frail economic tales. Every step outside comes with a cost. but take this blank check and let it bounce, sucker. I am the great American footnote dragged through these streets. Our acts of daring were formed to remain unbowed, and speaking our mind is perfected defiance, even if our repenting is indebted. I am the most tired person in the world. Sprawl with me on the ground. I know we belong here. It's where we all end up. And Lord, I am ready now. Thank you. That is it.
Fucking excellent. Fucking I mean I got the impression that you had been around, in the sense that, I know a lot of writers that just travel and go from place to place, but this was so, I got these images of like being in like, staying over at people's houses and just kind of seeing these different lives of people, of comrades, and just kind of taking in the world. And one thing that I did during the pandemic, and I keep going back to it just because it's a great fucking place of doom, but we would just look at our phones and we would just talk about like, God damn, like what is going on? All of, again, the mention of war crimes, the mention of, the children with wars in themselves, which is such a really good metaphor of like, we don't even know that our children are internalizing the wars that they see on TV, or even kind of these civil kind of uh, struggles that they see between, the people in their neighborhood, the people that are in power, the politicians. And so what do we do when we internalize that? But I loved all of these different places that you've been and how you described them, and just kind of this like this tiredness. There was this tone of just like, God damn, like, will I always, like as writers, will we always kind of feel this loneliness, this despair? Um, and what kind of hope can we create for ourselves? And that's always like, anytime I think of a ending to a piece or a poem, kind of like the poems you read, like, where is hope attainable? And dot dot dot, like, fuck, I don't know what to do. It's either drug use, or maybe you just do one nice thing every day, and maybe that helps. Maybe nothing. Maybe you just kind of go on about your life and do what you can. But man, Brooke, this was fucking excellent. I'm glad that you read both of these pieces. And for those of y'all, you can read multiple pieces. I don't give a fuck. Uh, but yeah, just in Detroit, fuck, I really want to go to Detroit. I've heard so much through Insane Clown Posse, and of course, I gotta bring them up because they play such a unique part in describing the smog and all of the effects of like the way they grew up with all of this like factory industrial, just like cancer in the air, and how they were definitely affected. And maybe not, I don't know, they're clowns, who knows? It could just be personality wise, but yeah.
They're really good at like using the metaphors. They're really good at using like the metaphors in that regard. Like I like what they do. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not anything much different than what we're doing. Just really kind of like extraordinarily hyperbolic and graphic. But again, that's we just some of us don't have face paint on. Some
Yeah.
of us do, and we end up with Come Town. So.
There was this artist, I wish I had his name, but he was French, and he saw a lot of post-war France, and he would paint clowns because we all belong to a circus. And so he would ask people, like, what circus do you belong to? And whether that is a circus of politics, a circus of aesthetics, a circus of despair, a circus of pleasure. And we go through these different parts of our lives and different places where we have to really discover that. And for me right now, I just turned 30, single. I, am just trying to find my own circus. And, I'm glad that Kim lives like fucking 5 minutes away from me. And we have found this kind of camaraderie and not really fucking with the Memphis art scene. It's, everybody wants to be Martin Luther King, but nobody wants to get shot in the head type shit. And like, we're just trying to like really just uncover like, again, come punk, which is come joy, come freedom. And then I come in, taking from this doombox kind of idea of like, this is how we kind of understand the doom and the despair of Memphis, where people just kind of, like musicians come to die, leaders of the free world come to die, where fucking yellow fever came and killed like thousands of people. And we're just trying to, I guess, be clowns about it. We're trying to be our own fucking posse about it. But fucking A, Brooke. Damn, your piece got me fucking expired. Fuck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Wow, we are going all over the place here. I'm so glad to have people from all over, and that was the goal because there's so many readings that happen and people, I don't know why people post on social media like, "Oh, come to this reading." And it's like, "Cool, New York, I work. I can't go." This is why there is so much value. As much as I hated Zoom for work, this is where the shit fucking comes in and works. Anywho's, damn, we are moving, we're grooving. All right. Up next on my list is Lucas Mancini. I hope I said that right the first time.
Yeah, either one. We say Mancini because we're Metagons at this point, but
Nice.
Mancini would be more proper. But yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna read my first piece that everyone out online. It's on Apocalypse Confidential. It's called A Sheep. There's no reason to be. I should say there's a version of it on APCon. This has gone through some tweaks since then. But yeah, here goes. Afraid you sniffed me out, how I'd end up immediately this golden goose egg fried rice I am. I said, try the pate, wrong like some monastic haircut. I was delicately coiffed, speaking in some pseudo-mute patois, crying out for coddling, opposite type to strong or silent. I was on a mission to fatten you up like a liver. I was destined to live forever with you, so I said so. You loosened. I got taught. I never asked you to move in. You stuck your neck out, I guess. I had 10 fingers clenched behind my head on an axe handle. I guess sharing bodies is a chopping block you put your neck on. Shears are preferable to the axe, right? It's the pasture that swindles you into skin. I guess I'm a passionate shepherd, pastoral, provincial, I guess. When I see a long, thin neck, I have to get my hands on it, force feed it corn. I'm that sort. And I'll do one more real quick. This was on Expat like a month ago at this point, and it's called I Joined a Death Cult. Adam Lanza learned from Dylan Klebold, no use letting your mother live with it. They say mothers of victims forgive mothers of gunmen. You believe it? Grace is like quicksand. You see it in cartoons. I never thought it could happen to me, pressing green thumb prints of sun into my eyelids too often. Last time I opened my eyes, the world lost color. Staring into any light could blind you. I thought, there but for ... Bones are deceptively light. Cruelty is seasonal. The marrow of heat is all God's creatures, needles stuck to a deaf-mute tree, or at least this tree never learned to speak deciduous. My prejudice is evergreen. What did the prince think of his first leper? What would it even mean to suffer each fall in silence? This autoimmune inflammatory disease, niche diet explains my fucked politics, my insides sunburnt enough any mother would blush. Confession, college ruled, sun bleached, left illegible ant corpse under optic focus. Orient your aristocratic streak first outward, then to immersion blend. The insides blister at the thought of stomachs filled, stolen bread, bristles of sunset red in the west, chopping block of red firmament, stuck out tongue like popsicle, toddler wants attention, mom, look, blood. Me, who, once I come clean, only a mother could love. Thank you.
Oh, excellent. We got this amazing. Like now we're in nature where you just see this natural kind of doom. And I liked the being a shepherd where you're in charge of a flock. That was interesting. What was I don't know, I'm curious about more to hear more about that first piece.
Yeah, that's actually like the first decent poem I wrote. It must be like 7 years old at this point. And it was for just an assignment. It was we had to write after some like something that was the opposite of what you always do, and so it's that some 1600s ass poem, "The Passionate Shepherd to His Love," I think. Um, yeah, and so yeah, and it's very much it's like, oh, come live with me and be my love, like let's live in sin, let's do what we're not allowed to do, and even though I'm not going to marry you, like let's get it on, sort of thing. And what I liked about that and the direction I was kind of trying to take it is, yeah, there's kind of always this coercion underlying love, this slick talking or lying in your representation of yourself. Yeah, and I hope I don't embody that in my own relationships, but again, I think any sort of male presenting person runs that risk in any interaction with the fairer sex. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that's sort of where that's coming from.
It's so tough now, like, because I was on the apps for a second and, like, motherfucker, like, it's so tough to be like, all right, what do I present to people to, I'm not, and you sound so weird when you're like, I just want to talk just to get a response back. And it's so tough to try and, you almost have to think of, like, how do you get people to buy something? You make it look pretty, you make it look presentable, and fuck, I can hear Kim laughing in the background, and it's so weird to be, I guess, not just a single person in this modern era online, because it's like when and where is it appropriate to express desire and to kind of nurture this, like, okay, maybe now I'm ready to actually fall in love, or maybe I'm ready to find a partner, someone that I can love and who is deserving of my love and who is deserving of happiness that we can both share. And fuck me if there's not despair and thinking about, like, previous loves where you're like, did I fuck this up? Did I actually have a love that I could have nurtured like a shepherd nurses or nurtures, a flock, for them to thrive? And you brought up, this maternity, motherhood, with like toddler wants attention, mom, I come clean only a mother could love. And it's it's hard not to just jerk off Freud when you talk about relationships, but man, when you think of doom and the doom of relationships, and in the South, it's so easy to see people that are like high school sweethearts. The guy goes into business, the woman is like a nursing, gets the nursing degree, and you see this like nice, happy couple, white fence, Labrador fucking retriever, and I'm over here with goddamn face makeup on a fucking Friday night in my friend's house, screaming into a fucking laptop, like, like, god damn it, like, what am I not doing right? It's tiresome, but damn, and that's the beauty of these pieces that you provided us. It kind of makes me think just so hard about, like, it doesn't matter. You just have to try. You just have to really put yourself out there, and again, put yourself out there. So many air quotes maybe around each word, each paragraph, but it's tough. And I'm glad that you took that project on yourself in presenting these pieces, Lucas. I really fucking enjoyed it, man. These were excellent.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here. Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, like I'm familiar with a couple people in the chat, but I've never made it to like a Zoom reading before. So yeah, thanks for putting this on for sure. Glad to
Hell
be here.
yeah. It was, Misery Loves Company. I guess we're trying to figure out when the fucking death day was. Also, I don't want to forget the death cult line that you mentioned. Fucking, I feel like now we're at death cult, but when it went away, Misery Loves Company, I was waiting for someone to be like, "All right, let's do Misery Loves Company Part 2." And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and I was like, I want to bring it back, but I don't know if I'm the person to bring it back. Then it just time went on, and then this year I was like, "Oh God, winter's coming. I'm gonna be so depressed. I'm not just gonna sit in my room and fucking jerk off and do nothing. I'm gonna fucking actually do something about it." So this is me not jerking off, and I hope I'm doing a good job. So yeah, we're gonna keep fucking rolling. Next up on my list, I know that. Let me see if you're still in. All right, William, I know that you're at work. Are you able to read us a little something something? I'll give you some time. So yeah, William lives in Memphis with me and Kim. He works at a movie theater, so he's always giving me the scoops on different movies that come out. He's even given me some deals sometime, but I don't think that he's probably busy right now. Fuck, it's 9 o'clock on a Friday. William, I'm gonna keep you on the list. I'm gonna move you back down. I'll wait on it, and if not, no worries. I'll be doing this every fucking Friday, so you'll get your chance. Okay, we're gonna go past William. See if is Madison in here. Oh, Madison Nass, I'm gonna get you. You said you'd be here and you're not. All right, moving past that. All right, Rudy, are you here? I know you're here, but I'm gonna ask just in case. See, Rudy, I don't know if we can hear you. Oh no, did Rudy leave? Oh, no, Rudy's still here. I think yeah, we can't hear your audio, Rudy. See, can you hear Rudy, Kim? Okay, yeah, me and Kim both can't hear you, Rudy.
Hello, hello.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
It's all
A
good.
new microphone. How's it sound? Is it dog shit or
No, it sounds great.
good? Good. So I'm gonna read one published in Apocalypse Confidential also. Um and I'll link it right in here. It's this is a fun little one. It's about my dead dad. Called Animate Dad. And it's framed as a D&D spell for those who aren't familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, the coolest game that all the fucking retards play, like myself. Um, yeah. So let me just pull it up here on my screen. Oh, fuck, okay, there we go. Got her done. All right, let's see. All right, so yeah, this is did I link it or am I that dumb?
No, you did. We got it.
Okay, got sorry, it's like 10 o'clock here and I'm fucking late. So I've been sleeping all day and fucked up. But yeah, this one's called Animate Dad. Necromancy. No alignment because attempts to align artificial intelligence are a waste of time. Level. Lonely. 3. Rudy. 1. Death. 3. Components. Verbal, audible weeping. Material. A free Kling AI account with at least 70 credits. Casting time. 1 non-standard action. Range touch. Targets 1 or more dead dads touched. Duration instantaneous or the speed of memory, whichever is faster. Saving throw, none. Spell resistance, no. This isn't the original pick I put into Kling AI. The original pick I put in was one of him on the floor after his heart attack. The one I sent to the Malone call firemen and EMS. Prompt, make him get up. And it did. His face was oh dark terror feel, glittered, Gary, by perverse interpolation. Jaundiced limbs stiff as a board, the craft of a transformer rearranging his dark materials and light as a feather, his Jim Henson movements across the floor felt. The floor I was limp on while entering the prompt, make him dance to Thriller. I wrote, tearing up. Michael Jackson tearing up the dance floor. The floor that's as hard as fuck, as I'm remembering my dad saying, ha, I wish I could do a trick at my funeral and put a springboard in my coffin that makes me sit right up and scare everyone. My dad, who loved technology and technological solutions. I love technology, especially human AI collaboration. I even love the googly voices in the notebook that try telling me, the user, what to inscribe into this, my salty grief diary. Improve the ending, they told me, with the robustness of a mongoloid doing tarot. humanity against cards, and I love necrological solutions and problems. But still, my dad, who died intestate, frequently resists my calls to haunt with his will alone. I try to resist magical thinking, i.e. making additional D&D references in this totally fucked elegy. It's probably about as accessible to most people as a park bench in Baldur's Gate is to the tired. I serve the flaming fist. Anyway, my dad was cremated. Ha! That's it. Thank you for
Oh my God. Oh, this takes me to it takes me to when I would play D&D. This takes me to a conversation I had with my parents, who my parents made me touch my fucking dead grandfather's hand, because this is what he had, an open casket
mm,
funeral.
mhm.
And then we talked about, like, my parents were like, "Oh, we want to be cremated. We want to be put ashes in an urn." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm gonna make my fucking kid touch your goddamn cold hand like you made me touch your fucking dead dad's
Mhm.
fucking hand." So I love the morbid humor employed in this piece. It was so fucking funny.
Oh yeah, dude, thank you. Oh, yeah.
Also, there's a person called User. I want to admit them because you bring in
Oh
the
yeah.
best trolls, Rudy. So
Oh
we're gonna
yeah.
see what that does. But I know I love the morbidity. I loved the kind of, I don't know, your pieces always just make me laugh at things I shouldn't be laughing at, and it's something that you need when you get into these kind of spirals with doom or spirals with death, where you gotta laugh. Like, you have to find something. And using AI to make your dad fucking walk around like a ghost, like, I mean, it's better than making him into like some porn AI fucking thing like a bunch of people have
It's
been
true.
doing. I mean, Jesus Christ.
No, there was a thing about it was on I think Twitter or some discourse about Robin Williams' daughter, I guess. She said like stop using AI to bring my dad back and this shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, like wouldn't you like I mean, I don't know, like I guess some people wouldn't want that, but to me, like to see my dad everywhere, like I would love that, honestly. Like that's
I
um
I thought about
it'd be weird, but sorry.
right, of course. Like, you would be
Yeah,
like,
but
please don't make him like naked. I don't want to see his dick.
right,
Like,
that'd be
just make it
weird.
cool.
Yeah.
I was taken back to that TikTok live feed where somebody AI brought back Kurt Cobain. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. I
Oh, that
remember
was
that.
fucking crazy. And he was like, I have an iPhone in heaven. And you're just like, what the
Right.
fuck? And
No, I was
I love that whoever put that together clearly didn't type in Kurt Cobain after the gunshot. They were like, Kurt Cobain brought back pre-gunshot or something.
pre-gunshot. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, woo, it would have been kind of, because like
Would have been different
it,
effect for sure.
TikTok maybe would not have let that slide. Oh God, it's so fucked up. But I love your fucked up work, Rudy. I love your book, Kill Rudy Johnson, which is another Pig Roast Publishing work that has been released, and it's great. And just the creativity that you employ with indie lit work, nobody can fucking touch you, dude.
Oh, thank you for again having this space for the niggers to come out and do this shit.
All I
It's
want to
awesome.
do, it's just I want this to be a thing. I miss these Friday nights. I miss the trolls. I miss the fucking, I don't know, just like the misery, I guess. And misery does love
Yeah.
company. And now we're taking all of this doom out of these fucking, recesses of boxes and memory fantasy, and we're just fucking showing it to random strangers on the internet, which I don't know about y'all, but I loved Omegle back in the day. And this is a lot better than
Oh
watching
yeah.
jack off. So unless you guys like watching dudes jack off, I can call a guy. I know like two or three guys I'll get
I
here
mean,
right
I do.
now.
I do. I'll call your bluff on that.
Say,
Yeah.
Tim,
I
do we
love
know
watching guys.
that?
Oh
All
man,
right.
thanks.
Thank you, Rudy. Okay, so up next on my list, let me see, so I don't think Sean was able to make it. He told me that he was not going to make it. So up next is Mark Parsons.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Excellent. Uh, well, I have enjoyed a lot of the poems and writing I've heard tonight, and I want to thank you, Colton, for putting this together. It's great to be back among some familiar faces, as well as hearing people and seeing some people I haven't met. So it's a real pleasure to be here. I'm going to read 3 poems, and they are from a book, Spiral, that was published by Anxiety Press earlier this year. I'm going to put links to them if you want to follow along. So I'm going to post these links in the chat. Let me see if I can do that. And yep, so there you go. If you want to open those up, most of the links have like 1 or 2 have 2 or 3 poems, so you might have to scroll down to find them. The first poem I'm going to read is titled After Molting, the Insect Driven Mad in the Light of the Moon, or the movable, empty center of everything. On plant, on thumbscrew dividers, calibrated to linear scale, his mind steps off projective space to the dissident outpost of what he desires, a target bivouacked and circumscribed by pivots, tremulous, billowing under the wide-angle lens of obsession, the distance that separates man and his target, the prismatic distance, the distance that refracts between the same idea resonant in different minds. The most important thing, the only thing, the target is everything. The target is not. The target's a black drawstring sack worn over the man's head, letting him see everything the target is not. Leaning forward in a listening pose, he fans the knives and holds them up like he can see the row of fine double-edged points. In a leotard trimmed with flapper beads, the woman isn't wearing pantyhose, but no one in the audience can tell. Under the flawless white skin of a natural redhead, without superfluous flesh, toned muscles of hips and thighs emit a high-pitched sound only lapdogs and knife throwers can hear. The black bag vibrates with a frequency the stylus of his mind etches in the darkness. The target's an idea, connecting man and woman like a compass with dividers fixed at the angle the distance between them refracts. Gashes bound the paper moon on stage. The spinning motion of the diaphragm slows down. The man rips it away. Wearing the smudge of a fencer's elliptical mask, the insurance company ordered be worn for the evening performance, The woman steps out of the ruptured membrane and, with a flourish, removes her mask, taking in every member of the audience at once. Faces arrayed on the edge of a curve that's her whole world. Wherever she looks and whatever she sees, falling away off the edge of the empty, movable center of everything. Untitled. Seconds tick like struts around an axis. The fog of her hysteria erects. The slippery chemical cloud of what she feels holding fast, conforming to the borders of a masculine depression. All the men in her life there around her, smashed to fragments and splinters in jelly after she took one on the chin, become attachment points in firmament, deaf to the ticking she hears as she lays herself out on a span of rough vault. Friction of misunderstanding multiplies the force from man to man to man. Frustrated artists and bank tellers, guilt cages. These men can't comprehend a woman doing what she has to. They can't remember when it was. What is without mercy, thought, or feeling done to her was done to each of them. Squeezing shut her eyes, black amoebic shapes in darkness pulse and fade as ghostly contours dilate, drift out from the focal point, each echoing the one that came before, like topo lines when the elevation changes, ring after ring, as tenuous as smoke, released out of the turbulent nothing, throbbing at the center, oozed into the fissure of perceptual isolation, always just outside the desolate landscape of West Texas, or the abyssal plain of the deep ocean floor, giving vent to accumulated navel gazing. Her intrapersonal network in the catastrophic moment externalized, a diagram of Dayglow viscera, the constellation of her imploding star-studded defensive unit rolls its personnel around her, zone coverage spinning like a fan, the mechanical cosmos of sexual intercourse swallowed and disgorged across the killing floor, a titanium bicycle spoke, tumbleweed wrapped up in billowing parachute silk, the hairball of celestial madness, burnished metallic encrusting strategically blistered on piled up escapements triggered by gender confusion of body dysmorphic disorder, 'cause she does everything with just one whole, every excited utterance bearing witness to deeper, coiled up emotion, never intended to pass public scrutiny. Does it matter, she thinks with a shudder? None of them know the song. Almost wound down clockwork vamping anticipates. Self-soothing tines of bright metal going methodically over what's already been gone over how many times before, no one precisely recalls. The last poem, having woven himself into the world above the world, the brute. Warp like a lozenge dissolving in uterine dark, light at the end of the stadium tunnel withdraws, caught up in a retransmission, consent dispute, ardent fans of a rat hole team that's taken on the disposition of its coach, keeping their vigil by Klieg light, watch on the eight-sided jumbotron, high above the action, equidistant from everyone, the insistent nightmare play as isolated moments, diced up and stretched out through time, the tussle of athletes cropped close and blown up, then turned on an axis like a dangerous chemical encased in acrylic, smartphones and tablets providing statistics and comment, play by play and color, as fervent supporters make for themselves what the networks have blacked out at home. The mixture of text and high def, a point of view denying an objective account of their world while it comes to an end, right below, right in front of them, right before their very eyes. The fans can't look away, can't see inside. The scaffolding stripped bare of rhetorical reference. The hackneyed disaster attachment has become, both hopeful and afraid at the prospect of being ruined and somehow also fulfilled, what they've wanted, unable to admit to the wanting, high on pharmaceutically enhanced levels of free serotonin. Audience members pay a collective price for their excess of happiness, condensed and conforming like liquid to psychic dimensions, volatile emotions bottled up inside, act as pressurized ballast, keeping the faithful afloat on an ocean of scorn and embarrassment, transfixed by the fathomless depths below. Weft, acrid burn of post-nasal coke drip sliding down his throat. The gambler studies the velvet bag of tiles engraved with runes, golden cord with knotted aglets, loose around crimped casing, slips his fingers under the standing collar, fastened tight with brass studs front and back, and rubs his fingertips across a strip of emery ironed on the fabric. Turned wooden pawns scatter and skitter across old linoleum squares, blanched of color by age and dust, as the model on the mattress lowers her head to button-tufted ticking, offers up wan buttocks. Through matched sliding glass doors and sunlight beating down so strong, it leaves a film like cultured milk. A flowering branch of terebinth bears ruby petals to aluminum balustrade. Like a coiled spring inside a wind-up toy winding down, a cicada's call winds down, and up against a window screen giving on an upper story covered walkway connecting identical flats. A moon round face presses dark and blurred and indistinct. Thank you.
Unfucking real, Mark. When I was listening to these poems, immediately just the technical understanding of language is just unreal. And of course, the next thing I'm thinking is, how the fuck do I review? Like, because within every poem are these different scenes of, man watching woman on a stage, the idea of insects, the athletes under this jumbotron, and, this kind of not horrific, but this existential viewership of sport. And then this last piece here, or these last two pieces of, the acquired taste of post-nasal coke drip. God damn, that brought me back. Woo, Memphis cocaine, man, hell of a fucking experience.
That early morning, that pre-dawn post-nasal coke drip,
Yes, and I just love how even with the technical understanding you have of poetry, you're still able to bring it down to these experiences. And of course, you've had a lot of experience in your life, and you're able to relate it in such unique ways. Kim, yeah, the second piece that I have up here, the Untitled of the I don't even know where to comprehend, or I don't even know where to begin to comprehend. But the way that, what was this line? These men can't comprehend a woman doing what she has to do. And there's a lot of this kind of disconnect between the characters that you introduce in these pieces. There's, these characters have to try and find different ways through senses to try and figure out what's going on, whether they are trapped with knives, looking at people on a stage, or staring at people on a floor, on a stadium floor. But it's hard to say that, even though, yes, it is very, and again, I keep going back to horrific, but horrific's not a bad word, because it's beautiful as well, because of how you are putting us, like, it's almost like you're taking the hand of the reader and just putting it right on the piece, and it's like, just feel. Don't worry, just fucking feel. And the beauty that poetry can give to a reader is making us fucking feel. And through every single piece, Mark, you made me feel. And I need a goddamn Mark Parsons like 101 for your poetry, because it's got levels. It's got unbelievable levels, subtext, the whole fucking 9 yards. I guess just curious, like, through all of these different pieces, like, I don't know. I hate asking the cliche of, like, what made you want to write these fucking poems? But I guess out of any of these pieces, are there any in particular that kind of strike you as like what puts you on a page?
Well, these pieces, uh, I was, I had been struggling for a number of years when I started these, and I originally drafted these out in 2011, and I had had a kind of technical. I'd had a sort of, I'd been kind of lost and technically, and I couldn't resolve some issues. And I started these poems when I kind of had a breakthrough moment, like a aha. And I wanted to write kind of a series of poems, and I wanted to use them to explore extreme states of mind,
Mm,
right?
yes, yes.
And I wanted to kind of talk about characters who are in different ways at an extreme state, an extreme psychological state. And, there was this idea of like these scenes with sports or some kind of physical activity, like throwing knives, the relationship between the knife thrower and the target girl,
Hmm.
which is a very intense kind of psychological bond, or the idea of the way fans and their teams have this kind of very intense relationship. or the poem about an untitled, this woman who's in this very private sort of self intimate moment, and what's kind of going through her mind. And so that was sort of what was the impulse behind a lot of these.
Damn, yeah, the extremes. And that is something that a lot of people are very hesitant. People like to be comfortable with their own writing, and we like to hear the word transgressive. And to really transgress is to go to the extreme of brutal violence, of brutal connections that people have with each other. Going back to Eric, I know he's gone. I think he left, but with like the relationship
Yeah,
between
the
drug
whole
users.
the junkies, which is addiction, narcotics addiction is such a brutal reality to go into. It's hard to describe it to people, and he did. He took us into that world. I mean, I've been there, and I see it around me, and it is it is there's something kind of sublime about narcotics addiction, because in a way, it like does have this sort of sublime truth to it, like the capital T truth
Yeah.
that we talk about. But at the same time, it's a brutal truth.
Yeah.
It's like there's not grace, there's not mercy. It just grinds you and breaks reality down. There's black and there's white. There's getting high or maintaining, or there's just fucking hitting the wall and just wishing you had never been born.
Yes.
And that was something I was thinking about with Eric's piece. It's like there is this sublime, almost metaphysical truth to addiction, but it's not like it's not like the grace truth. It's like the baseball bat to your head kind of truth.
And that's, I had this fear when I initially sobered up, was because when I would write and just put myself into like a sleep deprived state, sitting in my bed, just smoking my bowl and just going and going, and I would finally hit this moment where I'm like, this is what I mean. This is where, okay, and I get to this extreme of a piece or a poem where I can finally hit that fucking peak. And I was nervous about, like, fuck, am I going to lose that? But I don't think that's the case, because again, with the sublime, anybody can at least attempt to try and climb that fucking mountain. And with your pieces, yeah, there is such a unique sublime element to each piece that and I love the way you fucking read pieces. Like, I've noticed with me, when I read your pieces, I read it in your voice, and so I think that's just a unique characteristic that like, you got to find your voice, and within your work you find this voice, and you find these extremes with these different situations, these different scenarios, and these very relatable kind of characters that we see in everyday life, and execution is just fucking on point.
Well, thank you, Colton, and thank you for hosting this. I'm not sure if I should call you Morgenrede or your regular name, but thank you for hosting this. It's great, and the Cum Punk that you and Kim have done is also amazing.
Thank you.
And big shout out to that. But it's a pleasure to have an open mic back on Friday, and thank you for letting me read. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and of course, for those that don't know, my name's Colton. Morgenrede is a Dutch German word for morning speech. I found it just looking up different words, and it inspired me to, because God knows if I put my real name on my writing, there ain't no fucking way I would be able to be employed. So Hell no, man. So this
Well,
pseudonym,
I feel you.
yeah,
I think a lot of us know that. You know,
it's the risk we all take with because Kim, I love Kim, and she's able to use her real name, and she's been employed plenty of times, and she's written arguably crazier shit than me and for a longer period of time. So I don't know, maybe I could learn something from Kim to just one day publish under my real name and see what happens. But I don't know. I'm so glad to be doing this again, and it's uh Kim, whereas "See You, Morgenrede" is a Morningwood speech. Ha ha ha! Very funny, Kim. But yeah, this space and spaces like this, it's just nice to see people's faces. It's so much better than an X space, which was fun in the beginning, but it brings me back to hearing William's voice, and I'll never forget the first time that I read a piece and William you know just gave me this encouragement, this feedback, and I was like, holy fuck, like I think I can do this. And we everybody needs that. Every writer, even if you are at the beginning stage of whatever you're trying to do, you need some crazy person on the internet to tell you that you're doing something right, that you're hitting some mark. You're hitting something on the mark, and I am trying to again let the weirdos, let the crazy motherfuckers know that your shit. People are listening to your shit. People like your shit, and keep fucking going because we're all miserable. We all fucking hate everything here. We're all in different places in the world that fucking suck and don't understand us, but this is a place that will not discourage. This place will try to encourage. I mean, shit, we encourage the trolls. Motherfuck, we love the trolls. We love everything. Ironically, as we are in this unique state of doom, uh, that is media agnostic doom journaling. So yeah, Mark, thank you once again.
thank you, Colton.
You're gonna make my fucking makeup run. God damn it. All right. Well, shit. We have gone to the end of my list. However, I did have a request to invite Jeff Schneider to read. So, Jeff, you are up next.
Hey, everybody.
Jeff, so good to see you.
Oh man, I don't know if I can follow up with the accolades as well as you guys just spoke, but shout out to Media Agnostic Doom Journaling. Fuck yeah, man. I'm really happy this is coming back, of course, as a as an OG. I feel like extremely happy that this is coming back. And I just wanted to shout out Eric. I know he took off. He had to work, but happy publication day, buddy. Um, yeah, I didn't really understand that this was a little bit about doom and darkness. Um, and
It's
I definitely have some shit that's on that level.
hell yeah. It's loose. When you create a space that is doom like, again, humor, absurdity, existentialism, whatever, what have you, passion, desire, erotica, all of that comes into play. So just find your fucking building blocks and make whatever the fuck.
Awesome, man. This is probably extremely negative, and I don't want to fuck with anybody's sobriety, but I got two dark poems. I'll just read them real quick, and then we can get on to the after party if there is one. All right. Um. So yeah, let me go. Um. There is no recovery, only stopping. What you killed does not rise from the dead, because the only higher power is the lie, the same lie that started the killing. All right, and that's my super positive first one. This next one, I tried to place myself as a 17-year-old because I'm old as fuck, or perhaps the same age as some of you here tonight, which is much younger than I. But that's the mode that I wrote this one from. Okay. If I weren't me, if I weren't me and I were my brother-in-law, on my birthday, my wife would have arranged a secret threesome with the girl from the bar who thought I was a DILF to surprise me. If I weren't me, I'd be the Hemingway of 2025. If I weren't me. How do you like the band Kiss? How do you like Marvel? How do you like the Stones? How can you stand that song? If I weren't me, I'd smoke the cigar you didn't buy me. If I weren't me, I'd pray to God that he would never deny me. If I weren't me, I'd know how to measure the 2x4s and build the floors of the castle Father gave me. I'd write the poem to win awards and offer up my soul for you to buy me. If I weren't me, I'd stay around after the sun goes down and smile. I'd live in San Francisco, summer in P-Town. If I weren't me, I'd be warm. If I weren't, I'm sorry, if it weren't 2025, it would have been a suicide. They had far more pride back in 1955. Poem. Well,
Yeah.
that's some depressing shit, but hey.
That's what we're fucking here for, baby.
I'm happy to deliver it, bro.
And that first piece reminds me of a quote. I talked to this guy who was a former alcoholic, and this quote always stuck with me. And he said, "You never plan to relapse. If you're going to relapse, you know." And when you said, I keep forgetting people's lines. I need to channel my William, but it's not quit. It's not recovery. It's stopping. And it's you don't it's so true because like you kind of, I mean, there is some recovery with like my stomach feels better. I went through a period where like, oh my god, my stomach was like, thank you for not fucking poisoning yourself every goddamn day, motherfucker. But I mean, you just stop and you just become this different, not become a different person, but you kind of have to look at yourself and you're like, well, now what? Every day is looking at yourself, now what? And I fucked myself because I have weed in my bedside drawer, and every night I think like, man, I would love to watch Twin Peaks just fucking blazed off my ass. It'd be so much fun. But then I think about like, just don't. What if you didn't? What if you didn't? Um, and then thinking about, if I wasn't me, man, that train of thought, it's so simple, but it really, I mean, you can just fucking spiral going through that. And again, Jeff, what I love is just how simple you present these. I mean, you can have pieces that are just so simply funny, but also just so simply depressing, and just, but in a good way. You didn't bring the fucking mood down, but you just made me kind of go into these reflectory moments of like, huh, like I didn't really think about it that way, but it just fucking makes so much sense.
Oh, it makes me happy, man. It's just it's writing, I don't like don't relapse for fucking sure, man. Like
But see, like I know
it's
that
a
like
poem.
if I do, I'll know because something will happen. Like to be sober forever is just one. I mean, at some point, I'm gonna be an old man and I'm gonna have to take pills that numb pain of some sort. I'm gonna be, I don't know, in a situation where like I am like, I've had a lot of, and people that are sober, I hope you can confirm this, but I keep having dreams that are so seemingly real where I'm like, oh, I'm just smoking again, or oh, I'm just drinking again. And then I wake up and I'm like, was that real? And then I just have to like kind of be like, okay, I'm still sober. Weird. I had a dream where I was completely fucked up and now I'm awake. And it's and I'm glad that I'm talking about sobriety here because I hate talking about it on social media. You feel like the most annoying person in the fucking world when you talk about it. But like in America, it's binge drinking and it's like the access to all of these drugs and like the way that drugs run youth and run in creative spaces. Like it's so tough to know like what is correct and what is a way of tolerance and what is you know what is chasing the sublime and what is chasing the dragon. It's not something that you learn in school. It's something that you learn through trial, through fire, through laces of drugs that are laced. It's learning through friends that overdose. It's learning from people that fuck up in front of you. And again, like when I was in college, the guy that ended up overdosing and dying, he, as absurd as it is, injected heroin from a Mountain Dew bottle during the middle of service at a restaurant. And I had to watch him get walked out by the cops. And I'm just like scratching my head, like, motherfuck. Like, there's just no explanation for that. And I just felt so sorry for him because he had lost his brother to drug addiction and he just could not do what his brother didn't do. And it was, again, like if he wasn't him, who knows?
Yeah, man, it's intense.
Yeah, and I fucking threw an earful at you, but Jeff, needless to say, for those of y'all that don't know, I Jeff and I were in Misery Loves Company. Jeff before me, I just started coming in and was reading my shit, and Jeff helped me publish my book Abuser with Pig Roast, and it was awesome. It took me places. It got people interested in my work and helped me kind of come to terms with, some things in my life where I was like, okay, I need to be honest with myself. I need to change who I am. And, the power of, the written word can do so much. It can drive you to be an insane fucking clown. It can drive you to be sober. It can make you drive to New York for a poetry reading, for a book release, because you just fucking want to do it. And I will never regret that decision. That was awesome. I love Gabriel Hart. But no, but it's Jeff. It's always such a treat to hear you read because I feel like you listen to so much, you read so much, but you have so much work, and it was a gift, a fucking treat to read. Rocking out on the main line, which there was my blurbs on the back because it was just so funny to think about you as a teenager, like listening to Metallica, Megadeth, and working all these shit in jobs, which helped me relate because we can all appreciate writers and creatives that work shitty jobs and still have the time to create at the end of the day, whether we're tired, covered in grease, smelling like shit. We've got, we're living in a house with three roommates or whatever the fuck, and life is hell, but we're still able to relate. And spaces like this with writers that have been published by you, that we all have this fucking superpower, this, unique. I keep saying the word unique. That's my fucking trigger word of the night. God damn it. But I mean, for real, like it's just kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I think everybody that read tonight is on the vanguard. That's my opinion. I feel like I had a weird thought about just the way popular, even in the writing community, is going. And there's not a lot of weirdos. It's like, I think there used to be a lot more weirdos, but now it's like, that seems like a thing that's on the fringes. And I feel like people brought it tonight, and there's a lot of extremely good energy. And I feel like it's so great to hear everybody's thoughts and work. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that you're doing this, man. So I don't want to get too fucking sentimental. Awesome. Thank you, bro. I
Thank
really
you,
appreciate
Jeff.
it.
Of course, yeah, I agree that there's not like it's just not weird enough. I mean, I go to some of these readings and like who the fuck's putting face paint on their, who the hell is yelling and screaming and being obscene and like in your face and like that, like that's what interests us. We don't want to see fucking Little River Band. No, we want to go see fucking Black Sabbath. We want to go see Kiss. We want to see heads bitten off, biting that bat's head. Like we want to see, again, going back to Mark, we want to see the extremes. Because even though we could say that we are dulled and that we have kind of numbed ourselves, to a point of seeing the extreme online. I mean, shit, I was watching Three Guys, One Hammer back when I was in fucking high school. Like, still, like, once you hit the extreme, it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And with every new generation, they find that extreme. They find that correct point where you stick the needle in and it's like, boom, okay. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that, again, new writers can come to this space and show us their shit. And then maybe you publish them. Maybe they fucking make their own press. Who fucking knows? It is just having just that space, just that. And I don't like to say, I don't like the word community, because this is not a community. We are just a bunch of fucking weirdos in our rooms, some of us smoking, some of us naked, whatever, and we're just hanging out talking to ourselves with a screen in front of us. That's where we're at. But somehow we make it fucking work. Anywho, a person, and again, thank you, Jeff, a person that I would think is the most normal out of all of us. He might disagree, but he is requested to read, and me and this writer have a very awesome relationship. We write historical fiction together. Another inspiration for this reading series, or this open mic reading series, was I volunteered at a cemetery in Memphis, and I would just go through all of these different files of buried souls at rest, and I would have to scan their folders, everything that was in their folder, from their obituaries, the funeral service information. If they were noteworthy, I would scan newspaper clippings, and it was just so fascinating to go into this kind of world of the dead and how much of an impact they had on the now. But this person helped me write pieces on souls that are not here anymore, but I thought that there was something special about them. And he is just a great editor. He is a great friend, and he is a Misery Loves Company OG. This is up next, Keith. See, Keith, I can't hear you. I don't know if you're talking or not. Mute and unmute. Damn it. Can you hear him, Kim? Damn, we can't hear you, Keith. We're going to figure this out. We got your mic to work earlier. See, Rudy, what did you do to get your mic fixed?
So try going to the audio thing. There's a little up arrow there. Sorry. Then you go to leave computer audio. Then once you do that, come back and like just like retoggle it. There you go.
How's that now?
I hear you.
Yes. All right. We figured this shit out.
We hear you.
Well, I concur with what Mark and Jeff said, Colton. Just I echo what they say about the space tonight, and boy, I'm nervous, but I didn't think I'd ever have an opportunity to read this piece I wrote earlier this year, and I didn't know if, and the way the program was going tonight, and after Derek's reading, I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, maybe I should share it because it's kind of a therapeutic piece. It's a true piece. It's titled "Triggered," February 7th, 2025. Wednesday, November 27th, 2024, 11 a.m., the day before Thanksgiving. A trip to pick up a pumpkin pie. Passenger riding shotgun, head down, eyes closed. A stressful morning. Briefly looks up, opens eyes. Traffic lights stop. Sitting in far right outside lane. The 3 lanes to the right are turning on to the 3 northbound lanes ahead. Head back down, eyes closed. Learned much later that the driver saw him turn. He turned into the middle lane. Moments later, the sound, the distinctive sound. Passenger wonders, coming, going, curious, looks up. Nothing coming in southbound lanes. Head back down, eyes closed. The sound fading, heading into the distance. Silence. Gone. The driver accelerates the vehicle slowly. Finally, the light must have changed. Moments later, as the vehicle moves slowly with the traffic, a sudden slowdown. Passenger looks up, opens eyes, brake lights ahead being tapped. 3 lanes, slowly moving forward, bumper to bumper. Then 2.5 lanes. Suddenly, debris in the roadway. Be careful, watch out, shotgun passenger speaks. Vehicles ahead crawling, easing over into the far lanes. Driver slowly trying to follow the leader, carefully preparing to move over. Oh God, don't look. Just be careful. Go slow. Don't look. Don't look. Deep breaths, eyes focusing, not wanting to see. Passenger scans the scene. There's no one else. Be careful. Please be careful. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing anyone can do. It's too unsafe to stop. Adrenaline rushing, then and now. Shortness of breath, then and now. Pulse racing, then and now. In the center of a side roadway, perpendicular to the main road, a man, face down, wearing a black jacket, left arm by his side, right arm up, resting on the pavement, bent at the elbow. Man's forehead resting on his forearm, looking down into the pavement. Surreal, so surreal. Silence, thoughts, no helmet, no movement, no blood. He's dead. The passenger knows it with certainty. He feels it. Lifelessness, not unconscious, dead. It's a body, a man's body. There's no one else, no one else. Passenger exclaims, don't look, don't look, be careful, just please be careful. A motorcycle, perpendicular to the man's outstretched legs, a few feet behind. Debris seemingly everywhere. Little pieces of orange plastic, broken mirror pieces, random fiberglass, who knows what else. Scattered across the roadways and the 3 lanes and the contractor's only entrance to Naval Air Station, Jacksonville, Florida. the runways in the distance, no planes coming or going, nothing beyond the scene, only the vastness and openness of seemingly endless space. Surreal, so surreal. This can't be happening. It just can't be happening. It can't be real. A man wearing a black jacket, taking a mid-morning nap in the roadway. A cloudless sky, the sun beaming down. Amen. Footnotes. 1. I consider this prose poem both the easiest and most difficult piece that I've ever written. Sometimes we have to write things out of our heads. It's part of the process. 2. The man in the black jacket was 20 years old and from Texas. He was stationed at NAS Jax. A few minutes later, he was pronounced dead at the scene. He was one of 33 motorcycle deaths in Duval County, Florida in 2024. 3. As this recollection is written today, February 7th, 2025, Duval County, Florida has just recorded the 7th motorcycle fatality of the year. Triggered. That's it.
You could hear a fucking pin drop with the pacing and the way you approach this story, Keith. And it's so, again, the surreal aspect of car crashes. You know, it's, I don't know. I really just want to just sit in silence for a second and think about just how you took us on that journey, because it's this great skill that you have with taking your time and letting each word descriptor take its time, because we've all been not a witness to a car crash, but we've been on the highway. We look around and we're like, shit, someone got into an accident. And it's just so easy to look away from it and to drive by it. But to have that personal experience with it, it's within your head. You hear the silence. You feel every moment of before, then, and now. And just those moments, the then and now, and how it just kind of keeps going and going, and you finally putting it out here. I am so happy that you were able to read this, Keith. I had to imagine it was difficult to write.
Yeah, it really, after we saw that, and then we went up and ultimately had to come back down in the southbound lanes, and that was just about 30 minutes later, and ambulance, sheriff, police were there. It was a really terrible, terrible scene, and it was pretty traumatizing. But I knew after it happened that I needed to write, but I just could not write for 3 months after that happened.
And
And
that's
then every day, like today, I read online news for Jacksonville, and today we've had the 39th fatality of the year, and still have 6 more weeks to go. And it's just, it's almost like every day you see something in our papers here about a motorcycle fatality. And just to be witness to that, it was the guy was on a ninja bike, and that was the distinctive sound that I heard when I was riding. My wife was driving, and I was I just looked up to see if it was coming or going, and just everything is exactly how it played out. But it was very therapeutic to write, but it's been really difficult. So
and I admire you. It takes so much strength to, I mean, to write about it immediately is, some people are able to do it, but to take your time and to sit and to kind of almost meditate on this. I mean, I know that, when as writers we have to really think like, is, ethics, like, should I write about somebody else's death that I didn't really know? And in a way, I mean, you have to capture these moments because they are human. They are not just newspaper stories. And I read, the obituaries at the cemetery, and sometimes people just have, this person died in a hospital. Visitation is, and I'm like, this person doesn't get anything else, and at least you were able to give this person, just, the grace of a description of, a moment in time, a place, and he's not, just a statistic, because it's so easy to just have, again, you're just like, there's another one, another fatality, and it just becomes a number. But for you to remember the placement of the body and what the motorcycle itself looked like, how close it was. I mean, just these very like fascinating details that some people would maybe think are too arbitrary, maybe too specific. It's like, no, not at all. Like, that's what makes your writing so interesting, is that it's like you're focusing on the things that other people wouldn't really think about. It paints that picture in a more surreal way. And so again, like, I love to think of writing and compare it to surrealist art, because when you close your eyes and think about this piece, which I wish I would have done more, but I was just kind of wide eyed, like, holy fuck, you see this surreal image pop into your head, because it's never, you can never recreate, but you can surmise and, create that surrealistic kind of image. And it was powerful. It was very, very powerful, Keith.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to read it, and I'll uh, I'll save Come Punk Heaven for another time.
We would love to have you for the next Come Punk reading, Keith. I think that would be fucking awesome. That would be so much fun. But you did such a great job, Keith.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you related back to Derek's piece, because I mean, I can't imagine you heard that piece and you were like, well, shit, I feel like now I have to read my piece. So very, I'm glad that, so many of these pieces tonight have just, have been complimentary of each other. But yours, again, stood out on its own to really tell and to paint a beautiful, beautiful story.
Thank you. I appreciate it, John. Thanks for the nice comments in the chat. Thank you.
Absolutely. There is beauty in tragedy, and that is what we're here to find, is that, beautiful writing in this kind of weird, weird time where, again, media agnostic, sources of doom, and, we're journaling. I mean, that was truly a journal entry in this kind of greater, uh, I guess, this greater understanding, this greater kind of world of suffering that, I mean, hey, we're witnesses, and we're doing our best. Whew, my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you again, Keith.
Thank you.
That was an amazing piece. I am at the end of my list. If anybody who has not read would like to read, speak now. Well, damn, it's 10 p.m. I think we've gotten to hear some amazing pieces tonight. I think that I'm going to close it out. And I told myself that I wasn't going to read. However, I want to close it out with a very short piece from my Pig Roast Publishing book, Abuser. Um, this was, so kind of, if we're going off of Keith's piece, where it took him a few months to write after witnessing tragedy, I wrote this piece moments after it happened, and it I don't want to say it traumatized me because traumatized, it's always such a weird kind of filler word that it's hard to really reconcile. Like, did it really traumatize me? What is trauma? What really changes a person when you experience something like this? But this was, I have to find it. And Kim will probably know what piece I'm going to read. But this was a moment in my life where I lost something very close to me, and I just had to write it out the moment that it happened. So, yeah, this will be the last piece of the night. Again, thank you all very much. This piece is called I'm Sorry. On the floor in my kitchen, head against the cabinets, feet under my dinner table. The oven keeps making a noise, and I don't know what it is. My cat is next to me on the ground, curled up in a towel, and he's in pain, peeing on himself, and he keeps howling, but his appointment to be put down is in 12 hours, and I can't be happy, and I want him to die so he doesn't have to suffer anymore. And I have no choice but to go to the emergency animal hospital alone at 4:15 in the morning, and I get there and fill out the paperwork, and I can barely spell my own name, and I swipe my card to render the service valid, and the nice vet nurse lady takes my cat to get sedated, and I can hear him screaming, and even when I plug my ears, the sounds still penetrate. But soon there's silence, and then they bring him back in after a second, and he's very quiet, and his eyes look different, and I'm fighting memories looking at my little guy wrapped up in a cloudy blanket, and the nurse tries to look for a vein in his foot, and she fucking finds it, and she sticks my best friend, and she asks me if I'm ready, and I say yes. And so finally she injects the lethal liquid, and my cat's stare becomes permanent. And now there's no more pain, and I cry. And the nurse asks if I want to be with him for a minute. And again, I say yes. And after a moment alone with my cat's body, the vets put my friend into a little white cardboard coffin with his name written on the lid in Sharpie. And I walk outside to the sound of birds and drive home going 10 under the speed limit. And that's it. That's my piece. That's when my cat died and I had to put him down and I was all alone. I was very sad. But now I have two wonderful little kitty cats and I love them very much. Go fucking pet your pets. Tell them that you love them. As much as we go through these horrible moments of tragedy and death. And also, by the way, I kept that cat in my freezer for fucking months because I could not bear to look at my cat and bury him. But eventually I did bury that cat. His name was Peach, and I miss Peach very much. I was in a very bad place in my life when I got Peach, and he was doomed to die. But we always need to take care of things and people that are broken and that need love because it helps. Every little thing helps. So, on that note, thank you all very much. Once again, this is Media Agnostic Doom Journaling. This will be a weekly open mic reading series every Friday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. If you want to be on the open mic reading list, message me on X, Twitter at Morgenrede, or on Instagram at Morgenrede_. Thank you all very much. And I'm going to end the recording